The earliest desires of his boyhood heart were to be the bully that he could. He's now the president of the United States, the commander-in-chief of the most powerful military the earth has ever known, with retribution in his mind and heart. Donald Trump obviously thinks he's a king. But did you know? He also thinks he's a whimsical, magical king. That when he gives an order, all of a sudden people magically disappear from the crimes they were committing. Yesterday, he went on this wild rant about protesters who were tearing down statues. And then the mob was heading to Thomas Jefferson. And then he signed an executive order. And then all of a sudden, all the people knew about the executive order in real time and stopped doing what they were doing so abruptly, so rapidly, that the ropes still hung from the statues. What? He also says that there's a statute out there that he's not statue, but statute out there that he revitalized. They re-signed it into law, even though it was already a statute that didn't, it's on the books. You don't need to create the exact same law. And in it, if you even think about touching a statue, if you even have the thought into your brain, what am I thinking right now, Donald Trump? Are you going to criminalize my thoughts right now, Donald Trump? You know what I'm thinking, Donald Trump? It's not about statues. What am I? Oh, yeah. Yep. I could do that. I could do that thing and all of this would stop. What? Wait, I have another thought. Yes. I'm at risk of prosecution, everyone. I'm risking 10 years in jail, maybe more, for the thoughts I just had. From our magical, mystical, wonderful King, Donald Trump. This is a little longer of a snippet than I normally play, but every single word of this is wildly alarming. From the tidbits about the 10 years and the thought crime stuff to just his recreation of history, Donald Trump is an addled, demented octogenarian who is hell-bent to, before he dies, act out his most authoritarian fantasies, his most dictatorial fantasies. Watch this. Stick around for it as long as you can. I'll put a timer up in the top corner so you can scroll through if you get tired of it or you just can't handle it or you don't give a fuck about what he says anyway. And then we'll talk about it on the other side.
So, just to conclude, Washington, D.C. should be one of the safest, cleanest, most beautiful places anywhere in the world. It was years ago. We had one problem that was a pretty big problem. The radical left got out of control and they started trying to rip down statues. And I said, let's go pass a law real fast. We're going to do it real fast, but we were blocked by the Democrats who do not want safety. Nobody gets it. I don't get it. They don't get it because they can't get votes. I don't know how they can win an election with this, but they don't want safety. And I found an old statute, very old, early 1900s, that said if you so much as touch or even think about destroying a statue or a monument in Washington, D.C., you go to jail for 10 years with no probation, no anything. In other words, slightly different than we have today. Today we have cashless bail. There you get jailed 10 years. No curtailed sentence, 10 years. And we took it out. Nobody used it. It was never used because, it was harsh. And you remember they started to rip down the statue of Abraham Lincoln. I said, that's a tough one to rip down. He was pretty good, Pam. I think he was pretty good. When the ropes started going around Abraham Lincoln to pull him down, Andrew Jackson, others, and they were heading to the Jefferson Memorial, Thomas Jefferson. They're going to do a big number there. I said, it's time. And I signed that statute immediately. We had it updated. We made it use the same language, all passed by Congress. And I announced it's 10 years in jail, no probation, no anything, 10 years, no curtail sentence if you touch, so much as touch a statue in Washington, D.C. And it was an amazing sight, beautiful sight. Everybody just left. The ropes were hanging around Andrew Jackson, and there were 2 ropes around Abraham Lincoln. They left the rope, but everybody just left. And that was the last problem we ever had. You know, that was the last problem that we ever had with the statues. They were going wild, and somebody came to me and said, "Sir, in 1910, I don't want to give you an exact because you'll say Donald Trump gave us wrong dates around like early on. You know, if I'm slightly off, they make you sound a little bad. So I won't put myself in that position. I won't put you in that position, because I think everybody agrees with what we're doing today. But when I signed that thing, it was like a miracle. Everybody left. They were gone. They were starting to march down. They started the march toward Thomas Jefferson, and I figured he was always going to be safe. But they found something with him, and they found something with Abraham Lincoln, and even in the name George Washington in California, numerous places changed the name of George Washington High School and various other places. They took George Washington's name. This was a sick, woke culture that I think we've largely ended. And a lot of those people that were woke are now turning out to be the opposite. I won't go so far as to say MAGA. It's a very special category. But they've gotten out of that.
Name me one part of that was accurate. What is happening? What is that? The ropes and Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson and the statute and 10 years. And if you think about it, it's just rambling, meandering. I would say free association, but it's not even that. It's Donald Trump repeating the hits, but he's cramming them all together. The same bullshit that he talks about year after year after year that becomes, he's just on autopilot. We are in danger because his brain is a melted candle. We are in danger because the earliest desires of his boyhood heart were to be the bully that he could. And now he's the ultimate bully. He's not just a kid with the magnifying glass burning ants. He's now the president of the United States, the commander in chief of the most powerful military the earth has ever known, with retribution in his mind and heart, with revenge at the core of his motivation. He's not here to make America great again. He's here to bring America to heel, to be that dictator type who rules his people with an iron fist. What do you think? I invite you to this conversation. We can talk about it in the comments below the video. You can also call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. Please consider supporting this work via Patreon, patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. You can also become a subscriber on both Facebook and on YouTube by clicking the join button below the video on YouTube for $1.99 a month. Anyway, I love and appreciate you very much. We are in deep, dark times right now, and it's going to take all of us sticking together to get through it. And I thank you for being here. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.